this is Gilgamesh. I went and saw 28 Days Later, The Bone Temple. I'm going to tell you, compared the first one 28 years later, this movie 28 years later, Bone Temple, The Bone Temple is actually amazing. It is what the first movie should have been, you know, and it is. It's fantastic. It's really because of not just Ray Fiennes, but Jack O'Connell. And thank God Jack O'Connell is in this movie because he's actually outstanding. And he plays Jimmy Crystal, who you saw at the beginning of 28 years later, which at the time I just realized that beginning of that movie takes place at the same time that the outbreak originally happened 28 years ago. So instead of following him, the first movie in this soon-to-be trilogy switches to the it switches, and we go from that to Spike, and then this one I don't know what Alex Garland did, but this story is so much better. And Nina DaCosta, I know a lot of people said that she directed the Marvel, she wrote it. I haven't seen it. But here, this movie works on so many levels because of the cast. And really, you give it up to Jack O'Connell. I mean, the guy, bring him in as Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal. He is a psychopath, but he's also, you realize as the movie goes on, his mentality is that of a kid. He's stunted by what happened at the beginning of the first movie in this, the 28 years later, when he watched what happened to his mother, his sister, and then to his father. This messed him up, but we learn this as the movie goes on. It follows two narratives. We follow first Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal right after the end of the first movie, and we follow Dr. Ian Kelson, who wants to try to see if he can undo the virus. And so we're watching these two, and now the Jimmys in this movie each are a finger of a hand. Yeah, and Jimmy himself doesn't actually kill anybody. He uses what he calls his fingers to do his dirty work. They all wear a wig. We learn some things about his character as the movie goes on, like especially we see how violent they are. And I was watching a lot people like Jeremy Johns, who I think didn't like the first movie. I really could not stand the first movie. This movie's what the first movie should have been. This is a much better story, and it does. It follows two narratives that will come together, which makes a much better story overall than that previous movie. And big reason I said is because of Jack O'Connell as Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal and Ray Fiennes. And I'll tell you, when these two meet, and it's way into the movie, Jimmy basically, there's some gore in this movie, and I heard Chris Gore say it's really gory. It wasn't nearly as gory as I was expecting it to be. There's a scene, it starts out where, they show up to this house, they're invited, and then this one lady basically comes back, and she's hostile to Jimmy and his Jimmys, and they're trying to be friendly and everything, and then they decide to be less hospitable, and they're going to basically kill these people. And so, it's messed up. And he thinks that he's the son of the devil. I'm Satan. He even calls him Saint Nick. Kid you not. And in the trailer, you get a scene where Jimmy's told about this bone temple. The girl tells him, doesn't know what it's called, just says she thinks she saw Satan because he's covered in iodine, which is why his skin's red, to prevent infection. And he does say that. And then he's working with who he calls Samson. He's trying to help see if he can cure Samson and bring back his humanity, since he knows inside they're still in there, but they can't really control their movements or behavior because of the rage virus. Yeah, so he starts, Ray Fiennes starts drugging Samson and seeing if he can physically bring him. And he is tall. The guy, he's gigantic. I mean, and without giving anything away, you see what happens as that goes on. And then one of the girls, I'm trying to remember which one. It's Jimmy Ink. She goes out and she sees the doctor, Ian Kelson, and he's dancing with Samson. She thinks he's Satan. She goes, "Oh yeah, Satan's here." Jimmy, and she notices after mentioning this, Jimmy didn't know about this. He is, yeah, a bunch of shit happens where, after, the whole thing where, in the trailer they show one of the survivors gets, sets up several people. It's pretty bad. So he tells Jimmy about it. So Jimmy goes and they see the place. He goes and this, like I said, is in the trailer. This isn't the thing. He confronts Dr. Kelson and says, "Are you St. Nicholas?" And he goes, And eventually Kelson realizes he's talking about Satan. He goes, "No." They start talking, and this is what's fascinating, is this whole interaction between Jimmy and Kelson actually is really good. It shows that Jimmy is mentally messed up because of what happened to his parents. He even brings up that he believes, he explains why he thinks he's the son of the devil because of what happened to his father. And Kelson doesn't judge him and everything. And another thing is the soundtrack of the movie is absolutely fantastic. I said I love this fucking movie over the previous one. And they bring in Duran Duran, and they bring in Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. And that's, if you see in the trailer, you see a bit where it shows this fire at the temple. That does what the song Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden comes in. And it really fits. And we heard, without giving too much away, that, and the end of this movie sets up the next movie. But I got to give it to Nina. She does show she can direct here, because this movie, the script requires the two stories have to come together and they have to make sense. And this movie does, like I said, what the previous one couldn't do. Make the story make sense. It's, if you're going to start with Jimmy, you should have him throughout the movie. Here, they do that. They balance the two stories. You have this craziness of Jimmy and his fingers. Literally, he calls them his fingers that make a fist. And you have Kelson, who is trying to restore humanity in Samson. And give it to the actor playing Samson. He really, without not going to ruin what happens, because the ending sets up what's coming to the next movie. And it shows by the end that, yes, Jimmy is just a scared kid. He really, when he says, when he said, "You mean Satan?" You see it, and it, like I said in the trailer, when he asks him, and he says, "You mean Satan?" He's scared. As much as he says he's the son of Satan and everything, which we know he isn't, he's scared of Satan. You can see it on his face when he said that, and goes, "No." When he starts talking about it, he realizes, he's not Satan. He's just and he feels comfortable talking. He even says, he asks him to help him with something, which plays into why our main song comes in. And he goes, "I want, because if you can't help me, I'm going to have to kill you." And he goes, "I really like you. I don't want to have to kill you." And like I said, in this movie is fantastic. It really sets up hopefully what's coming. And if I were the Garland and Danny Boyle, let Nina, if the script is good, I fear if Garland has the time to write this, and he does, I would say let Nina direct it, because she did a fantastic job with this. This would be perfect to really show. I said it. This movie, I'm going to see it again. I couldn't believe how good this ties back to the original 28 days later, because it really does. When you hear Jim, you realize Jimmy was a little boy 28 years ago when the outbreak happened, when Jim was in the hospital in bed. Yeah. And everybody's fantastic in this movie. There's the girl who plays Ink. She's okay. She kind of shows, maybe it's because she's been with Jimmy. She doesn't really, is kind of like, shows no real emotion in the movie. And I guess that's because she's just so, she's not like the rest of the Jimmys where she's really excited to kill people. It's kind of, she kills to survive, but she's not showing much emotion. She's not really thrilled with murdering people like the other Jimmys. And Spike basically, it just wants to get away. He wants to get away from all this. He basically doesn't want to, kill anyone. He's forced to have to kill to survive. And that movie, it really does work. Yeah, and the twisted logic of Jimmy, Sir Jimmy Crystal, is you understand it. He's not your traditional villain. He's this way because of what happened to him when he was a little boy. When he watched what happened to his mother, his sister, and then his father, it twisted his perception. And you get that when he's talking to, when he's in there with Dr. Kelson, you see the boy in Jimmy. He's not this wild, like, true psychopath. He's become this because of that. When you see it, you realize it's just a front. So he doesn't feel, because he's terrified. He really is a scared little boy who's been stunted by what happened to him 28 years ago. And so it makes him have to act this way so that he doesn't show that he's scared. And, you do see that in the movie, that he is generally terrified of, being alone because of what happened to his parents, having to grow up without them. That's why I said if they put this stuff showing him growing up without, we would have understood that. But here they do have a chance to have him sit down and talk, and it's like you see a side of Jimmy you don't see when he's around the fingers. And that's really important to understanding he's mentally stunted by what happened to his parents. And that's, like I said, Ralph Fiennes, always a great actor, and really give it to Jack O'Connell. He even outshines Ralph Fiennes, the legendary Ralph Fiennes. I couldn't believe how much I really, 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 really enjoyed this movie. It's like, I didn't see her Marvel's film, and I'm going, why is this movie so fucking good? It's because it's an amazing script. Alex Garland does, when he wants to, he can write. This poster is amazing. These four, you look at, that's the girl who plays Ink, Jimmy Ink, but here are and you've got the main two actors here, Ralph Fiennes, Dr. Kelson, and you got Jack O'Connell as Jimmy Crystal. And you got Samson, of course, that's there's, Ink, Jimmy Ink, and this, of course, is Spike, and each one of them does their job. Everybody does a great job in this movie. There's flashback you find out about Samson. You see in the trailer, the train with him as a little boy. That does come in the movie. And I don't want to give anything away. This is one you should see in theaters. I could care less about the previous one. This one solves very many of the problems of the previous movie. And I got to give it to Nina. She did know how to balance this. Her direction is great. Something Chris Gore could learn from. He could learn how to direct a movie. They did this. This was professionally shot. You could tell, unlike the previous one. And everything in it all flows symmetrically. It flows like each story comes together. It does. There's nothing like, that doesn't fit. The story flows one way, it flows the other, till they come together to complete the story for this movie. And then what comes after sets up what's coming in the third film. And if at the point of this movie how good it is, I would tell Danny Boyle, just let Nina direct the next one. Because like I said, I didn't care for 28 years later, though that was a mess of a movie. This one proves the woman can direct. She really can direct a movie when given a good... And Alex Garland wrote a really good story here. The first one sucks. This one is a vast improvement, and I really enjoyed it. I have not heard one person who's seen this say this movie's it's an vast, and it's surprising. Critical Drinker was surprised how well this movie is and how Nina really did prove. DaCosta proved what she can do if given the right script, and she just directs because she shows she can direct competently. Not so much Chris Stuckman, but here you see the competence of a well-written script and a woman who clearly knows what she's doing. And Nina, good job. I mean, really fantastic job this movie. You found a way to balance two stories in one that works. And like I said, when a story, you split it in two main story, and they come together and everything flows fluidly to the point that by the time you get to the final act of this movie, everything fits. That even when what you see in the final act, you're even surprised how you don't see the ending coming. I'm not talking about the final part with and I'll it's the part of what happens. I don't want to give anything away. It's a surprise what happens. I didn't see it coming. I was like, yeah, because you're expecting one thing, and then suddenly there's this, I guess you could say twist that comes kind of like you didn't see coming. That all is like, wow, that's how good this movie is. You don't see where the movie's going because they make you think it's going to go one way, and that does involve this, by the way, on the poster. But way they change, you don't expect what's about to happen. It's like, what the? Yeah, and that's what was so great about this was the ending. You didn't see it coming, and it works. Then you get another scene. But what happens at the Bone Temple, you didn't see how that was going to play out at the end. And give it to Ralph Fiennes. He does an amazing job while playing Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. That song is perfect for the movie because of the fact that Jimmy thinks Kelson is Satan. He thinks he wants to pretend that he's the son of Satan because of what happened, like he says, he brings up what happened to his family while he's talking to Kelson, and you can see that Kelson can see through that he's just this scared boy. Jack O'Connell I've watched his career. He was in Eat Lake Eden, where he played asshole kid who, terrible. He causes a lot of terrible things. And then he was in Sinners, where he played the vampire and everything. He's always been a fantastic actor. He's a kid actor. Now he's in his 30s. This guy is versatile enough to play. He's really great at playing villains. Like, go look at Leslie Nielsen's career early on. From Day of the Animal and everything, he was really good at playing villains. And then he switched to comedy. And there's humor in this movie. Don't get me wrong. There is plenty of actual humor. People were laughing when, and it does break living, so you're not so, okay, God, that's gory. It does cut away. So you get some gore, like, oh my God, I can't believe they decided to do that. Not giving anything away. This is a great movie to see. I really didn't think I'd actually go, oh yeah, I like this movie. I love this fucking movie. It's, it goes back to the first movie. It really ties back to the first movie, the way they end it all. This movie will lead into and I'm hoping to God that if they're smart, they'll let Nina direct it. And Alex Garland, please do the same great job you did with this one, The Boneyard. Do the same thing again for the final, so that what she did with The Boneyard corrects a lot of the problems with the first movie. And if you're smart, Danny, let her direct the third one. Please. Her direction was so good, it corrected the mistakes. Why you filmed your movie that way, she did a much better job here. I honestly would let her direct the third one with the way the film was framed, the way everything made sense. There wasn't anything where I didn't understand what was going on. I loved the flow of this movie. This is a course correction. This is how you do two stories coming together and make sense. Yes. That's why this movie's an improvement. I was really surprised. I'd heard Jeremy Jahns, others say how much this is a better film than that. They weren't joking. This movie is, right now, I would say, this is probably right now I'm going to say my second favorite movie of the year so far. Because I'm always going to say the first favorite movie right now is Lupin the Third, Immortal Bloodline. But this movie is right under it so far. I've got a couple more movies to see Tuesday. But yeah, this movie stands above the last one. I mean, really does. It's fantastic. It holds up. It's great. I loved it. I'm going to see it again because it's that movie that I missed one scene because I had to go to the bathroom in the theater. So I missed a scene because, yeah. So I'll see it again. I really, 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 really like this movie. Surprising because I did not like the last one. I really didn't like it. This one is a vast improvement. And good job, Nina DaCosta. You showed you can direct, and thank you, Alex Garland, for writing a good script that she could work off of. And to the performers, good job. You made a solid movie that had gruesome stuff in it, that expanded this, and brought it all back to the first movie. That's how you make people remember 28 Days Later. Yes. So to you, Danny Boyle, for choosing her to direct it, I get why you chose her. The Marvels sucked. This movie's your first huge, I hope, hit, Nina. And the fact that you showed here, you know how to direct a good, competent story. You're going to keep going this way. You'll have an amazing career. And I hope you do too. I hope you direct the third one and let you direct. And Alex, please write the same way you wrote this. Write a competent story that really ties it all together, and let her direct, Danny. Let her direct the third one, because I'll say it again, this movie proved this woman knows what she's doing, and she can direct a competent movie. So good job, Nina. This will probably be the #1 movie in the country, and I hope more people see it. I will see it again. I appreciate the fact that you took the time to make a really, really well-scripted movie. So thank you, Nina. Thank you to the cast. Thank you, Danny, for picking her, and I get why you picked her to direct this. Thank you, Alex Garland. And, yeah, thank you, Jack O'Connell, Ray Fiennes, and everybody else. You did a fantastic movie that had horror in it. And it was really what the first movie, a human drama with infected people in it. And you focused on the human, not so much on the infected. And that's why you balanced it perfectly. This is probably, there's 28 Days Later. This ties directly to that. And that makes this actually my second favorite in these movies. And then I put 28 Weeks after that. And unless I say about 28 years later, this movie is the second best one in the whole franchise. So hopefully the third one is as good as this one, because I really, really want to see where this goes. I am so eager to see where this movie goes. Not just for the fact of Cillian Murphy coming back, but the fact of how this whole movie tied up the two stories. How we get to the conclusion, and it's like it leads to what's coming next, and I'm excited. Please let Nina direct the third one. Danny, take a step back again. Let her direct it. Alex, really craft a good story that brings everything, ties everything, so we get a true conclusion. So we can have, because it's obvious. I could tell you, okay, I think I know where it's going to go, but I don't. I'm surprised at how good I love this movie. I could tell you and spoil the movie, but I don't want to. I want you to experience it on the big screen, because this movie should be seen. And give it to the cast. Everybody, even the girl who played Ink, Jimmy Ink, I get why she doesn't show emotions. It's like you're trying to hide the fact that you're legitimately terrified of Jimmy, and you can see through his bullshit. Is she great in the movie? She's okay. But really, everybody else helps her not come off as crap. So, good job. So, yeah. My highest praise for this movie is it's my second favorite movie so far this year. And I hope that Nina does the next one and we get a really great script from you, Alex, because you can write great scripts. You proved it here. I haven't seen Warfare. I probably will see it. But if the third one is as good as this one, I will look forward to seeing it. This made me happy today. Yesterday when I saw it on Saturday. So I'm really happy I saw this. So yeah, great job. This is Gilgamesh. I will talk to you later. Bye.